Good morning, everyone. It's great to be part of this event and have this opportunity to deliver a talk. In my first part of the talk, I shall discuss how you can write effective manuscript, and second part, I will make you familiar with impact factor, h-index, and i-index, and how they are calculated. And most importantly, what are these parameters indicates and what are the significances of these parameters in research fields. The talk should be interesting and beneficial for PG and PhD students and those who are working in R&D sectors or any academic institutions. If you are in research field, you need to write research articles and publish in some journals. And publication of your article somehow depends on how effectively you write your manuscript, which can impress not only the editor of the publisher, but also the reader who will read your article after it is published. So through this talk, I'm gonna tell you some of the tips that might be helpful to write more effectively a research article if you are in research field. So before we start, the first step that you need to know in research effective manuscript writing is, before writing a manuscript, you must know where to begin. Where to begin means you need to choose some journal where you are going to submit your article, your manuscript. So read the journal instruction carefully. So the format of the journal, the format of the article varies from journal to journal. So you need to construct your manuscript accordingly, and references also differs from one journal to other. So read the journal instruction, submit your manuscript, and you should decide whether your content of the manuscript is appropriate for that particular journal or not. Is this correct place to submit your work? Means you have to decide whether this journal is suitable for your work or not. For example, you are working in electrical engineering and write a manuscript, but you are submitting your manuscript to English journal. That is not the appropriate journal for you. Make sure you understand the page, section, data, figure, and limitations of that journals. A particular journal also give you instruction that is called author guidelines that you need to go through, and they will limit you to how many words should be there in your manuscript, and they will limit you the number of pages and sometimes the figure size. So you have to follow all those guidelines for that particular journal. Make sure you understand the format, what kind of format they want. They also mention the format, whether you need to write the manuscript in Times New Roman with 12 font and so on. And the layout, text layout, they also sometimes mention there. So you need to follow the instruction, and accordingly you have to frame your manuscript. Understand the requirements for submitting articles, data, figures, pictures electronically. They also want you to submit it electronically. Then you need to have some account. You need to register for that particular journal and have account, and you will submit your manuscript through electronic media. So the general structure of a manuscript, that more than 90% journals have this kind of structure for a research article. The first section is abstract. The second section is introduction. The third section is methods. The methods could be experimental methods or computational or theoretical methods. And the fourth section is results and discussions. In some journals, these results and discussions are separated. They want first results to be discussed and later discussions. And most of the journal, they include these two sections together to discuss your results instantly wherever you mention your results there. For example, if you mention some findings, you need to support that findings with some literature and why it is coming and what is the impact of your results for future research work and technology. So that you can discuss there itself. So mostly more than 90% journals follow this format, but some of 10% journal, they also want results and discussions separately. And then finally, the conclusion, you have to write the main findings of your research in the manuscript that needs to be summarized there. And references you need to put. And references style should vary from one journal to another, and you need to strictly follow the guidelines of that particular journal that you have chosen to submit. So I will go through one by one these sections and let you know how to write effectively and what are the common mistakes that researchers do that you can avoid and that may help you to write manuscript more effectively. So let us start one by one, how to write abstract effectively, what are the common mistakes. Then I will go all these 6 sections one by one to let you familiar for effective manuscript writing. So first section is abstract. This is the key. Actually, I can tell you that this is the key part of your research article. This is the key part of your manuscript, and you have to pay more attention to write this part. I think this is very difficult part, I can tell you. And it tells you the summary of the manuscript, not only the summary. And you have to limit your abstract within 100 to 300 words. Means almost all the journals lie in this range. Some journal limits 200, some journal 150, but all the journals limit abstract from 300 to 100 to 300 words. You have to write this. So what kind of information you need to put in abstract? Because this is the most attractive part of your manuscript. Most of the readers just see your abstract and reject that. So you need to pay more and more time to write the abstract. So what kind of thing you need to write? Problem investigated. Means what problem you have solved in your research and you are writing in the manuscript. That you have to highlight. Highlight very clearly what problem you have solved. Purpose of the research. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? That research that need to highlight in abstract. Methods. If some specific methods you have used, that is also kind of research that you have developed that method and applied there. So that you can mention there. And conclusion and what findings you have obtained. Some parameters you have obtained, then you have to highlight there. Okay, this much should be the value of this. This means quantitative data you need to directly put in your abstract. And that will attract the editors and the readers as well. And you can get even more citations of your research article. So most of the authors, they generally write everything like results and discussion, figures and all, and they write the abstract in the last. And that is the good thing, because you need to pay more attention to write this part. And this is the effective way to write the manuscript. So this is how you have to include that. The common mistakes that authors do, that are too much background or method information. Means all the information that they will put in the abstract, that is not necessary. Like what kind of methods they have used, how they have characterized, where did they go for assessment. These information they don't want. They want what is the key results that you have obtained, and what method, if you have some method, you just line one line that you use that one, and this is how you have obtained the findings. Figures or images. If you are some beginners authors, they also include figures, even references in the abstract. That is totally wrong. You should not include the references and figures in abstract. They don't want that. References to other literature. If they write something, one sentence, they also incorporate references in abstract. That is not correct. You should not write the references in abstract. Figures or images should be avoided. Abbreviation or acronyms. Don't use abbreviation in abstract. If you are using abbreviation first time, you need to write full form of that. and you can write in bracket that abbreviation. For example, if you are writing OP Jindal University, if it is first time, don't write OPJ there. Write OP Jindal University in bracket OPJ. So that should be taken into care. So this is how the abstract should be there in a manuscript for effective writing up that one. And you need to pay more attention. I think if you write abstract very nicely, very effectively, then this will be the first impact, first impression in editors of the journal, and they may accept your, at least they will send your article for review process. You need to pay more attention on this part.